Hello, good day everyone. So it's me, Pilio Valerino, and today I would like to present about my essay regarding the microeconomics implication of energy security in post-pandemic Indonesia. So it is a part of my course regarding the energy and business landscape analysis in the ITB. So actually currently I'm a part of sustainability executive class of Master of Business Administration in Institut Teknologi Bandung. So before we jump to the main material, I would like to present regarding our outline presentation. So the first of all, I'm going to talk about the introduction. So I will explain about what is the driven about this essay regarding the microeconomic implementation of energy security in post-pandemic Indonesia. So maybe I would like to share about what is the condition of the energy security in Indonesia and even in the global, and then what is the COVID-19 pandemic and obviously for the effect. And the second one, I would like to share about the literature to deeply know about the actual condition regarding this essay, and then we will deep down into the result and discussion about the microeconomic implication of energy security in post-pandemic Indonesia, and we will close it by a conclusion and give some policy recommendation. So let's take a look on my introduction. So energy has a fundamental strategic role to economic activity that impacting to the society well-being for economic growth. And the interesting thing is that the growing energy is occurred globally in case to become the advanced countries. That's why energy demand growth is in line with the national economic growth. And actually this is applicable globally, but in this case, I would like to take an example of USA. As you can see on the graphic, the GDP of the USA is increased around 8 times from 1950 to 2010, while the energy demand is also increased 3 times. I think that's why we need to ensure the energy security for our economic growth. And despite of it, regarding the Indonesia context, I would like to share that Indonesia is the fourth most populous country in the world, whereas Indonesia have a population around 285 million people. So I think Indonesia needs to maintain the energy security to support its economic growth. And actually, Indonesia also the largest economy in Southeast Asia and also face a significant challenge in maintaining our energy security amidst increasing the primary energy consumption in Indonesia. And based on the data, final energy consumption in Indonesia is increased from around 890 million barrel oil equivalent in 2020 to become 1,290 million barrel oil equivalent in 2024. Actually, Indonesia primary energy supply in 2024 is heavily dependent on the coal. It's around 40% as you can see on the graphic, and also followed by the crude oil around 29%. And then natural gas 16%, and the last is new and renewable energy, it's almost 15%. But we need to know that about 50% of total oil product supply in Indonesia is relies on imports due to limited domestic refinery capacity. Actually, this is making Indonesia less secure in terms of energy availability. Despite of it, on the natural gas, we are an exporter of a natural gas, because around 50% of Indonesia's total natural gas production is utilized domestically. But more than 50%, we try to export it. So if I try to make a conclusion regarding the mix of energy in Indonesia, we still have a high dependency on finite fossil fuel reserve, which can raise our future supply concern. Then let's discuss about the COVID-19. COVID-19 pandemic has become one of the biggest challenges on energy security development in Indonesia and in a global economic. Actually, COVID-19 affected all of us in all of sector, even though in household, industry, and etc. And actually push us to keep a distance and work from home and etc. Maybe all of you face them. And in economy level, it is really impacted to the national GDP or national economic growth. While to manage it, Indonesia need to maintain their state budget, and actually they try to adjust the actual Indonesia state budget actually in 2020 until 2022. And for energy, actually the budget is reduced to allocate it for COVID-19 recovery, such as for giving a stimulus and then health issue, actually to maintain the GDP of Indonesia. And it also impacted to energy demand, which is decreased. And as you can see on the right slide, the actual energy consumption, specifically in electricity, is already decreased globally. Maybe for example, from the Italy, Spain, Belgium, Austria, and actually it is in Europe, all the electricity consumption due to COVID-19 is decreased. But specifically in Indonesia, there's some interesting knowledge that the actual energy demand is declined in the transportation and industry sectors, but in the actual residential energy demand, it's slightly increased, actually due to we need to done all of work from home, or usually we call it work from home. So this essay, actually we would like to analyze the microeconomic implication of energy security in post-pandemic Indonesia, which is I would like to focusing on availability, affordability, accessibility, and also the acceptability. Actually, this is the point of the dimension of energy security that I would like to share on the literature review. And so next, we're going to talk about the literature review. So first, we need to know about the trilemma of energy. Actually, the trilemma of energy consists of sustainability, environment, energy equity, and also energy security. But on this essay, I would like to focus on the energy security. Actually, the energy security is only about energy supply should meet the energy demand, and this definition comes from the World Energy Council. And actually, the definition of the energy security has expanded by all the scholars. For the example, they mentioned that we need to also focus on the socio-economic factors, and also focus on the rising demand issue, and then the supply disruption, and also the decarbonization issue regarding the environmental. But to deep down know about the energy security concept, usually we can use some framework, which is we call it 4A, which is consists of availability, affordability, accessibility, and acceptability. So availability, it's all about the have a sufficient energy supply from domestic resources. For affordability, regarding the price, so the final energy at a low cost and affordable for the local economy. And also for the accessibility, it means that have sufficient access to commercial energy to promote equality. And the last is the acceptability, meaning that we need to minimizing the impact of global warming. For fact of energy security in Southeast Asia and Indonesia, developing countries face unique energy security challenges due to rapidly increasing demand actually by fossil fuel. And specifically in Asia, Asian energy security declined from 2005 until 2010 due to factors like declining fossil fuel reserve, increasing price, and also slow adoption of alternative energy resources. And maybe specifically for Indonesia, actually Indonesia shift from a net oil exporter to become a net oil importer. It's posed a significant problem as its electricity network also relies on coal-based power plant. And in 2024, Indonesia energy supply increased from 7.3% to become 2,000 million barrel oil equivalent, with most of the mix consists of the non-renewable sources. Actually, this is raising concern about resource depletion and greenhouse gas emission. Despite of it, actually Indonesia also tried to utilize the renewable energy utilization, and the portion currently is around 15% to power generation. For microeconomic implication on energy security, will focus on the household level and also firm and industry level. And in terms of affordability aspect, energy price directly impacted the household budget. So its high or volatile energy price can reduce disposable income, affecting to the household consumption patterns and overall welfare. And energy subsidies, while straining national budget, can stabilize price for consumer. And also the concern of lack of access to modern energy limits opportunities is also matters for household level. And for the firm industrial level, energy costs can significantly impact to the competitiveness, to the profit margin, and for the investment. And also the energy intensity reflects their efficiency with improvements enhancing their energy security. And also the firm and industrial level also concerned about the supply chain disruption that can lead to significant economic losses. And for the key takeaways of COVID-19 impact, actually the first one regarding the energy demand. The pandemic COVID-19 initially lockdowns caused unprecedented drops in energy demand, with recovery depending on economic stimulus and behavioral change. And the second one, the key takeaways, is supply chain resilience, which is vulnerabilities were exposed. And also for the investment shift occurred with a growing narrative for green recovery initiative. And the government also faced fiscal pressure. And the pandemic also accelerated the digitalization, offering opportunities for improving grid resilience and efficiency. So we are jumped to the result and discussion. So the first one, I would like to share about the overall energy security index for trends of post-pandemic. So the first one, Indonesia energy sector experienced an initial shock in 2020 and the first of the COVID-19, with a declining demand in transportation and industry and a slightly decrease in residential demand. And by 2023, Indonesia primary energy demand recovered and surpassed in the 2019 levels. Indonesia GDP recorded around 20.89 quadrillion rupiah in 2023. It is signaling that the robust economic recovery. And for the total energy supply in 2023 was 1,800 million barrel oil equivalent, with coal production is around 40%, crude oil 30%, natural gas 17%, and the new and renewable energy is still around 13%. And the final energy consumption showed a consistent upward trend from 2020 to 2023, increasing from around 890 to become 1,200 million barrel oil equivalent, that is indicating a strong rebound. Despite of focus on energy security index, I would also explain about the dimensional of the energy security framework. The first one is regarding the availability. So the characteristic is continued reliance on the fossil fuel with proven reserve of oil, natural gas, and coal in 2023. Actually, the renewable energy constitute only around 12.3% of the total primary energy supply in 2023. And for the microeconomic implication, there are several points. The first one is high utilization of conventional resources, and then continued reliance on fossil fuels, as I mentioned it before, and approximately around 50% of Indonesia total oil product supply still relies on imports due to limited domestic refinery capacity. And this unpredictability deters long-term capital investment, hindering the industrial expansion and job creation. Actually, the economic burden of managing volatility is often passed down to consumer, and also continued operation of coal power fire plant, despite of environmental footprint, aims to manage costs and availability, but carries risk of higher long-term operational costs due to potential carbon pricing or environmental regulation. Regarding the dimension of affordability, the characteristic heavily influenced by the government pricing policies and subsidies. And actually for the electricity tariff for household and industrial user, and maybe for the example in January 2025 were provided on the paper, and non-subsidized and subsidized fuel price were also listed. The point is about the microeconomic implication, that the first one is the energy subsidies directly benefits household by reducing expenditure and preserving disposable income, while for the industries, subsidies lead to lower operational costs and supporting their competitiveness. However, these subsidies come at a substantial macroeconomic cost, diverting state funds from a critical infrastructure or sustainable energy development. And also from a microeconomic perspective, subsidies can distort market signals, disincentivizing private investment in renewable energy and energy efficiency. And for the dimension of accessibility, it's all about the have sufficient access to commercial energy to promote quality. And Indonesia accessibility dimensions show continued positive development in electrification. Actually, the electrification ratio reached above 99% in 2023. Reliance on traditional biomass for cooking remains a challenge, with 25.16% of households still using firewood in 2023. And for the microeconomic implication, electricity access profoundly impacts household welfare, enabling greater productivity and home-based economic activities. And for micro business, improve electricity access, enhance competitiveness and growth capacity, and continued reliance on traditional biomass brings health issues and time burdens, highlighting that energy access does not always equate to modern clean energy access. And last, for dimension of acceptability, it's all about minimizing the impact of global warming. And the characteristic is rising CO2 emission, with coal accounting for 60.1% of energy-related CO2 emission, while the coal production reached around 775 million tons in 2023. And the microeconomic implication, the first one is elevated of the emission CO2 and SO2 emission from coal combustion directly impact public health. Actually, this is usually happen on the steel industry and also on the power plant. This burden disproportionately affects communities near power plants or industrial zones. For industries, continued reliance on carbon-intensive energy could result in higher future operational costs, carbon tax, or reduced market access in carbon-constrained global market, potentially affecting export competitiveness like CBAM to Europe. And environmental regulation can drive greening and digital transformations in primary energy producer, influencing firm performance. This challenge presents a macroeconomic opportunity for growth and innovation in the green energy sector. And for the conclusion, Indonesia energy security has shown resilience in supply and demand post-pandemic, but significant microeconomic challenge persists. For the summary findings, the first one is reliance on fossil fuel availability, leading to volatile costs for household and industry in the future. And the second one, affordability, is maintained through subsidies, but I think there's a lot of issue on the long-term fiscal costs. And the third one is significant progress in accessibility offers widespread macroeconomic benefits, but lagging acceptability regarding the environmental impact impose health costs and competitiveness challenge. And for the profound of microeconomics implication, I try to divide it into 3 points. The first one, for the household, it will increase the energy poverty, reduce disposable income, and adverse health outcomes from pollution, particularly for vulnerable population. And for the industry, higher and more volatile operating costs, diminish global competitiveness, damn investment, and reduce job creation, especially for energy-intensive sectors. Environmental regulation can also drive a transformation towards a greener practice. And the third one, for local communities, disparities in energy access reduce uneven development, and environmental degradation imposes significant societal costs. And last but not least, we focus on the policy recommendation. Actually, to foster a resilient and sustainable recovery, Indonesia should focus on the first one, accelerated diversification and renewable energy deployment by prioritizing the scaling investment in domestic renewable energy to enhance availability and reduce fossil fuel import dependence, insulting local economics from global market fluctuation. Even though currently we have a lot of coal base to use, and actually I think in the future we need to think about the renewable energy development. And the second one is targeted energy affordability programs. We need to move beyond broad subsidies to more targeted mechanism to ensure affordability without distorting market signals for efficient and cleaner alternative. And then the third one, we need to enhance energy efficiency across sectors by implementing and enforcing mandatory energy efficiency standards and promote uptake of energy efficient technologies to reduce demand, boost competitiveness, and free up capital. The fourth is integrated environmental and energy planning by creating a proactive policies to reduce emissions such as maybe coal phase out, nuclear energy exploration, carbon pricing, and integrated into energy planning to improve environmental acceptability, leading to healthier population and enhance long-term economic sustainability. And I think this includes supporting greening and digital transformation for primary energy producer. And the last one is strengthening regional cooperation and green finance, actively participate in regional energy initiative to foster the economies of scale and diversified energy pathways, leverage innovative green finance and international climate finance to mobilize capital for the energy transition, especially given geopolitical risks impacting the energy trilemma. Maybe that's all that I can convey about the macroeconomics implication of energy security in post-pandemic in Indonesia. Hopefully it will be useful for you in the future, and see you on the next video. Thank you.